In this video, we are going to see how we can create PowerShell scripts and store those PowerShell scripts in Azure portal. Again, we are going to use the Azure Sandbox, which is a free of cost lab environment from Microsoft. I will provide the URL and you can sign into this sandbox using your Microsoft account. I have already saved my username and password, so it's not asking me. If you don't have account for the sandbox, you can sign into Microsoft Sandbox using your personal Gmail account. You can see the sandbox has started, and in the right side you will get the console session or the cloud session. You can run the commands PowerShell command in the this particular cloud shell, or you can also open the Azure portal. Let me open the portal so that we can see whatever we are doing in the console. We can see those virtual machines in the portal. Okay, so I had already activated the sandbox, so that's why 30 minutes are remaining. Generally this sandbox will have a time from 1 hour to 3 hours, 4 hours, depend on what kind of exercise you are doing. Okay, so right now we are inside the cloud shell. You can also open the cloud shell from the portal. So since it is already available to us on the same screen, I'm not opening the new cloud shell. Okay, so now let's run these commands to switch to the directory. Using the cd directory, we are going inside the cloud directory. So you can type the command ls or dir to see the content of the directory. Now touch is a Linux command. Since it's a shell, we can use touch command also, and then we need to give the name of the file which we want to create. In the now this created the empty file. So touch will create a new file, but that file will be empty. It will not have any kind of contents. You can directly create your scripts in the Azure Cloud Shell, or also you can use the PowerShell ISE to create the commands locally on your virtual machine. Let me open the PowerShell ISE also. This is also very useful command line tool, command editor or script editor. You can click on new, and here you can type all your commands to create a script, and then you can store these this whatever script file you have created. You can store this file as a .ps1 file. Okay, now let's say assume that you have created a file with different scripts, all condition or loops, variables, everything is defined in the script. Then you need to store this comma file as a PowerShell file, and it will have an extension as .ps1. First script you can say, and then ps1 .ps1. So this file will get as a stored as .ps1 file, and then you can run whatever commands you want to run. You can also run those commands interactively using PowerShell ICE. And at the right side here you can see all the PowerShell modules which are loaded or installed on your virtual machine. From the PowerShell ICE also you can find different commands. So here you can see we are easily able to find the commands which are available, or you can see what all modules are installed on your machine. Okay, this way you can also make use of PowerShell ICE for creating PowerShell scripts or managing your infrastructure using PowerShell. Okay, so since as of now we will be using the cloud shell only to create the PowerShell script and do our exercise. Okay, now first we use the touch command to create an empty file. Now we can use command code. The name of the command is code, and then type your file name. So it will open that file. Rather first use the ls command to list the file. So here you can see where we have created a new empty file using touch command, and now we can use the command code and then enter the file name here. I'm just doing the copy paste. Okay, and hit enter. Okay, so now we have opened this file in the editor mode, like we want to edit this file. We will not be able to uh, do the copy paste using the editor in this particular window. If I try to paste it, like only whatever is there inside this editor that can be copy paste, we can do copy paste. But the outside contents, like if I try to copy from the page exercise page to here, I will not able to do that. Okay, so here we need to type everything make sure that there are no errors. If you see any kind of error, then you can read the error, understand why you got the error message and fix. Now this is PowerShell. If you are running PowerShell on Windows, it is not case sensitive. Okay. So first, in this particular script, we are specifying the parameters which we need to provide to this script, so that we can uh, dynamically provide any kind of parameters to this script and execute our command. Okay. And in next, we once the parameters are set, like we are accepting resource group name as a parameter, then we need to provide our credential. So instead of providing the credential inside the script or hard coding the credential, we are creating a variable as admin $admin credential, which will accept the username password, and those details will be get stored in the variable as admin credential. And for that we need to use get dash credential command. Okay, and then the message, like on the command prompt, it will ask us to whatever message we are providing, that message will be printed on the screen. So here we are saying enter a username and password for the VM admin user. Okay, so this message will be printed when we run our command. Now next, we need to create a loop. So basically we are going to create multiple virtual machine. In previous exercise, we have seen how to create one virtual machine from the command line, but now we are creating a script which will create multiple virtual machine, and for that we are using PowerShell loop. Okay, so we are using for loop. For enter the command for, and in the bracket $I is equal 1. We want to start from 1, and then $I less than or equal 3, whatever maximum number we want to create. Or so in this case we want to create 3 virtual machines, and then $I plus plus. You can type the way it is written in the exercise. Okay, so then curly brackets. Now let's move on. So we have written our loop, but there is nothing inside in loop. Like what exactly we need to create, that we need to write inside the loop. So that we will write inside the loop as we want to give the VM name. Okay, $VM name, and then we can say conf demo. That's the name of the VM we are giving, and then plus $I. So it will dynamically use the variable name, and then that variable name will be added to our VM name. And so basically we will be creating conf demo 1 2 3 virtual machines. Okay, and then also we need to print a message on the screen, and we can print a message on screen in PowerShell using write dash host command. Okay, so when we want to print a message like creating VM colon and then space, some space we need to give, and then type $VM name. So we want to print a message, whatever virtual machine we are creating that virtual machine name we want to print on the screen. Okay, and in next here we need to provide the resource group name. Whatever resource group name we will pass to this virtual machine, that resource group we need to provide. Then provide the virtual machine name which we want to create. For credential, we can define the $variable credential. Again, this will be set when we run the command, and then we need to provide the image name, which image VM operating system we want to create. Okay, let's start typing new dash az VM. Okay, again it is not case sensitive, but make sure there are no spelling mistake, otherwise your script execution will fail. So I need to dash our dash resource group, then type the variable name which we define here. So we need to type that same variable name. Okay, and then dash name of the virtual machine. So that will basically VM name. Then give the credential parameter, and then the variable name, and we have set stored our variables in the credential variable is $admin credential. Okay, and then now we need to pass the image name, which image we want to use for this VM creation. It is ubuntu LTS, Ubuntu LTS. Okay, again make sure that you have typed the commands correctly and there are no errors. So uh, after completing this step number 8, you can save your file using Control S. Okay, uh, then you should see your script like this: parameter on the first line, then dollar admin credential and equal get credential. We are like accepting the input username and password as an input, and then we have defined a for loop, and inside the loop we have defined the virtual machine name, which will be created dynamically using the variable value which is defined at I, and then it will print a message creating VM, and then we have defined set the command new azvm command, which will basically create a new virtual machine. Okay, so this way we have created our script. Make sure there are no spelling mistake. If you get any kind of error, try to understand the error and fix that issues. Most likely you will have a spelling mistake in this case. Okay, and then you can press Ctrl Q to close the editor. Okay, so I have closed that file, and now we can run the command, this particular command. Now this is while running a script, we have to give our script name dot backslash or forward slash name of the script, and then we have we are accepting resource group name as a parameter. That's why here we need to pass the resource group name. This particular resource group is already created in this particular sandbox. That's why we have to provide that same resource group. In your case, if you are using different subscription or you have different resource group, then you need to get this particular name, and you need to pass that resource group name as a variable, as a parameter for this particular script. Okay, let's execute. And now it is asking me what username you want to create. So enter your username and password, and here we go. Like you can see, we got the error. So this is expected that whenever, like, while creating the command, if you have enter anything wrong, then the script execution will fail. And again you can go back and open the file. Okay, so let me see. Oh, okay, so instead of typing one single equal, I have typed twice. That's why I got the error message. $I is equal 1, uh, semicolon, $I less than or equal 3, then $I plus plus. Okay, this way you can troubleshoot the issue. Again, Control save to save the file, and Control Q to stop the execution. Let me clear this screen again. Okay, so that we can see clearly. And again, run the command. Sorry, I want to run the script now. Okay, I am running the script again. Now it is asking me the username and password. Specify your username and password which you want to create inside the Linux operating system which you are creating. So now here you can see we got a message creating VM and name of our virtual machine. So as of now it is creating a virtual machine with name conf demo1. And if we go to the console, and this is the resource group in which we are creating this particular resource, we can refresh, and it will PowerShell will create all the resources which are required to create this virtual machine inside the same resource group. Everything will be stored in the same resource group. Okay, now you can definitely pass on additional parameters to this particular script, but this is the simplest way of creating a virtual machine. So right now we can see it has created a network security group. It also created a virtual network for our virtual machine. Since we have not specified which virtual network to use or what subnet it should be using it, that's why automatically Azure is creating a new network, new security group, and all the required resources for our virtual machine. So you can monitor the resource creation or the VM creation. And here we go, the first virtual machine has been created. Now you can see it is creating a VM2 conf demo 2. Again you can monitor the progress. So this way you can create your own PowerShell script. Either you can use Cloud Shell or you can use the Azure PowerShell ISE or Windows PowerShell ISE to create your PowerShell scripts. So script will help you to automate your management task or infrastructure management task. If you have PowerShell module available for your application, you can install those PowerShell module and use those PowerShell module to do your activities. And again, just to tell you again, we are doing all this activity in the sandbox. Make sure we complete the activity during this sandbox period only, whatever time they have given to us. If the time's out, then we will have to start the activity again. We will have to activate the sandbox again. Once the sandbox time completes, Microsoft will delete this particular whatever resources you have created. Microsoft will delete those resources. Now the second virtual machine has been created and it has started the third virtual machine creation. You can go to portal and monitor the virtual machine or all the objects which are created as part of this PowerShell script. You can refresh from the top. Also again make sure that you are inside this sandbox directory. Make sure that you are not using any other directory or any other subscription. You can also search for the virtual machine from Azure portal. Okay, select virtual machines, and now here we can see all the virtual machines which are created, and also you can see additional information for this virtual machine. So again you can see here we have created new virtual machine using PowerShell. So this way we have created three virtual machine and we are able to automate the virtual machine creation. You can create scripts for anything depend on your job role or the requirement. You can create the PowerShell script. Now once the virtual machines has been created, you can use get azvm command to get all the virtual machines which you have created in your subscription, or you can type get a dash az resource command to get all the resources. So here we can see we have all these virtual machines. Again, it is recommended to do the cleanup whenever you do any kind of activities. Once the virtual machines has been created, you can do whatever you would like to do, perform your day-to-day activities, or you can stop these virtual machines and delete it once your exercise completes. So I will go ahead and delete these virtual machines. You can stop these virtual machines. Again, either you can do it from the portal or you can do it from PowerShell. Let's see how we can delete the virtual machine. We have to wait for minutes. You can see the virtual machine is getting deallocated. It is deallocating this virtual machine. Let's refresh it. Okay, and it Azure will power up that virtual machine and then it will deallocate that virtual machine. Or let's while that is going on, we can go to the second virtual machine and let's try to delete this virtual machine without deallocating it. Since we see the delete icon active, let's try to delete it without deallocating it. And the previous machine has been stopped. You can see the message. Okay, so while deleting the virtual machine, it is asking, okay, do you want to forcefully delete it? And also if you want to delete the disk and the network interface which was created for this virtual machine. So you can select that so that you don't have to delete these objects separately. Okay, so you can see error occurred while deleting a virtual machine because that virtual machine is actively running. It is associated. Okay, so that's why you have to shut down that virtual machine before you delete it. So we will say stop from the portal and let's go back to the first VM and delete it. Okay, something has happened. I'm not sure if no, we still have the time, so our sandbox is still active. Let's try to yeah, okay, and looks like something has happened with my sandbox, so that's why it is not allowing to delete it. In any case, even if you don't delete the resources from the Azure portal from the sandbox, Microsoft will automatically delete all these resources once your sandbox times out. Now here you can see like the time has out and I'm not able to delete these resources. Again, if I go to the subscription, okay, the first virtual machine has been deleted already. That's why it's not allowing me to delete it. This way you can stop all the virtual machines and delete it. Thanks for watching.